Lately, the economy has been such a challenge, and no one knows what the future holds. To keep your business thriving, you need to find ways to save money without cutting corners. When it comes to saving money as a small business owner, every little bit helps. ShipStation gives you the access to discounts of up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates, and you can manage every order from one simple-to-use dashboard. Worry less about the bottom line when you save money with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com and use code RESPECT today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's shipstation.com, code RESPECT. Get a head start on spring cleaning with Caraway. Their thoughtfully designed sets and complimentary storage makes getting and staying organized easier than ever. Caraway kitchenware comes in a variety of chic shades, and all sets include complimentary easy access storage solution. Caraway's high-quality ceramic-coated kitchenware is free of PTFE, lead, cadmium, and other toxic materials. Visit carawayhome.com/respectable to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/respectable or use code RESPECTABLE at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. I'm still in Cape Town. I was supposed to leave yesterday morning. I woke up Easter Sunday. I woke up at the crack of dawn in order to get my 5 miles in before I started my day. I had a spa date mid-morning, go get a massage, literally up in the mountains outdoors so I could see the mountains and hear the ocean and get the breeze on my body. But I needed to exercise my body before then. But I woke up and I was like, do I really want to leave? Like at the point that I'm up at like 6:30 in the morning, excited about going for a 5-mile walk, I was like, I feel like I'm in my happy place. And if I'm happy, why should I move? So I didn't. I checked the flights online. They had an available flight. I checked the dates for the Airbnb I'm staying at. They were still open for another few days, so I wouldn't have to change locations. Changing everything took all of 6 minutes, and it was super cheap. So I was like, I'm good. So I'm here till Thursday. I'm only going back because I got to get my services done. Like, I have a lash lady that I like. I have a nail salon that I like. And at some point, I got to take these braids out. It's probably not going to happen this week, but I'm dedicated to next week. Plus, I'm doing some Johannesburg adventures with this tourism company I've been working with. But there's so much more to see in Cape Town and beyond. But I'm also going to do the same thing with them in Johannesburg. So visiting a couple really dope hotels and then going a couple hours out to a game reserve. I don't think people realize you can go on safari very, very close to Johannesburg. You don't have to actually get on a flight and go to Kruger National Park. That's where I was a couple weeks ago. And there's also this like really beautiful resort. It looks like, I went there 10 years ago. It rivals anything that you would see in Vegas, but has really dope safari themes. And there's a nearby safari. So I'm going to do that with them this weekend. I had an amazing Easter weekend. Technically, it's a market. I don't know what to compare it to. There used to be, and there may still be, I just can't remember the name of it, in the Williamsburg waterfront every Saturday, I think it was Saturday, used to do like a food fair, if you will. So food and shopping and just real chill. I can't remember the name of it though, but that's kind of what this situation was. It's called Neighbor Goods Market. Tons of food. My God, the food was beautiful. And there was a DJ. And by the time I got there, like it was pretty packed. And the DJ was playing American gospel music, but like upbeat. Think like Kirk Franklin, Mary Mary. And people were like full on dancing. Like it was a whole club experience. And not like backing it up. I mean, like people were like legit like dancing. Like almost like it was house. But it was just beautiful and dope and just like, I mean, it's a mixed crowd, but it's a lot of Black people, more than I typically see gathered together in Cape Town. And it was just like good vibes and good energy. And I was like, I really like this place. There's a Neighbor Goods in Johannesburg. I've been to that one as well. It didn't have the same vibe for me. It was cool. It was dope Black people chilling, but it was just a different vibe. Not better, not worse, just different. And way better food at the Cape Town one. Sorry. Cape Town's known as a foodie place. It's better food. I shouldn't say better. It's not like I tasted everything. More abundant food options and better displays of food. Is that fair? I feel bad. I saw this woman who was writing about, she didn't tag me. Actually, somebody in her comments tagged me. And she was writing about like, oh, I listened to Demetria's podcast and I really want to go to South Africa. And they were like, she's based in Johannesburg. She doesn't really seem to like it, but she loves Cape Town and I'm totally sold. And I was like, it's not that I don't like Johannesburg. It's just, I feel like my vibe is more Cape Town. One, the water we've already discussed, but also being here, like it's the lifestyle overall, like where I'm based. Like I get up every morning really early and I walk down to the promenade. They call it the prom here. And I go walking for 5 miles. And I love that. Like Johannesburg, the idea of walking outside, people are like, wait, what do you know? Do you want to die? I'm like, wait, I can't even walk outside my neighborhood. Like I live in the suburbs. Like I'm in a good part of town. There's like no one outside. Like I can't walk. And they were like, there's no one outside. No, you can't walk. Like you're begging to be abducted. And I was like, well, what if I leave my phone at home? We didn't say shit about the phone. We're talking about you. They will abduct you. What? Every time I go somewhere in Johannesburg, like I pull out my phone to take a picture. Like if you notice, I don't even post pictures of Johannesburg like that because I don't take them. Anytime I pull my phone out, like immediately people are like, put your phone away. They'll steal it. It's just, I haven't had any safety concerns in Johannesburg, but the way people from Johannesburg react, I'm just like, I don't really feel that safe. And so I'm just hyper paranoid about my safety and getting robbed like 24/7. And I'm just like, I don't want to live like this. Cape Town, you can also get robbed. It's not like a rob-free zone. It's just, I can walk places and I can pull out my phone to take a picture and no one's like screaming at me about my safety. But I told you Easter Saturday, I went shopping at the waterfront and then I went to get something to eat. Also at the waterfront, cute views. Sunday, I walked the prom on Easter morning. I got my 5 miles in. I ran into one of my friends and she's like, what are you doing for Easter? And I just assumed like, people that live here, especially if they're from here, they would be with their families because it's Easter. And she was like, no. But we went out to Stellenbosch and we went to a winery. That was really dope. Had a couple bottles of bubbles. The winery actually had a Mexican theme. I haven't had guacamole, improper or proper. I've had no guacamole at all the entire time I've been here. And then we came back to the city. We watched the sunset on the prom, which was, it's Easter. God showed out. It was beautiful. It was an orange and purple sky, and we're like watching the waves roll in and drinking red wine out of cups. Like it was great. And then we went to this little spot called Open Wine where everyone's just outside and just chilling, like drinking wine. Tons of people. It reminded me very much of Adams Morgan in DC. I actually felt a little homesick just because it was like so close to home and then not. Like really cool people, really great vibes, really great music. Like I walked up and they were playing Lauryn Hill and I was like, oh, this is always a good sign. And then I think it was like Erykah Badu or D'Angelo after that. And I was like, yeah, we good. We good with the DJ. But yeah, just sat outside, drank wine, met cool people. It's been a good Easter weekend. And then Monday, I didn't do shit. I literally stayed in the house all day and researched this trip to Mozambique, tried to figure out Namibia, and then watched, what was the movie called? Praise? I think it's on Peacock because I think I was watching Fresh Prince and I'd heard about Praise because I saw the commercials with Chloe Bailey. I think she's hypersexual, but I also think she's amazingly talented and very, very cute. And I'm also obsessed with her little sister. I don't know if I necessarily planned to watch it, but then it started and I was like, well, it's cute. Let me support the Black folks and at least let it stream. And then I actually started watching it. And I was like, okay, there's moments of overacting, but all in all, it's a pretty cute story. I fell asleep. I think there were 20 minutes to go. I still don't know exactly how it ends, but I fell asleep because I was tired, not because I was bored. I just, I had a lot to drink on Sunday, so I needed to dry out. But yeah. You know what else I watched? I watched Succession. I don't think I'm going to recap it because in order to talk about it, I got to talk about like the major spoiler. And it's only Tuesday, so I want to give folks a chance to watch it if they haven't seen it. But I will discuss it next episode with all the spoilers and freebies. Go ahead and watch Succession. And also go ahead and watch Snowfall. I've seen Wednesday's episode of Snowfall. Obviously, no spoilers. If you watch Succession, the most recent episode, people are talking about it like it's one of the best episodes of the series. And the series has been nominated 50 million times for how amazingly good it is. I think The Wire and Breaking Bad and Succession and Snowfall even are all in the same category. That's how highly I think of Succession. The episode of Succession that aired on Sunday, I also think is one of the best in the series. I think it even tops the time Kendall went to a press conference and dimed out his dad, which I thought was one of the most amazing episodes of television I'd ever seen. This episode tops that. The episode of Snowfall that I just watched that airs on Wednesday rivals what Succession just did on Sunday. Wednesday's episode of Snowfall is episode 9, where everything goes crazy. And then next week's episode is where they've got to wrap up the crazy. I've already told you too much. It's crazy. When I watched Succession, I screamed and I cried at least twice during the episode. Snowfall, I had to keep pausing the screener because too much was happening and my anxiety was going through the roof. And I was like, I'd be goddamn if I raised my blood pressure over a TV show. But it's, even with the pauses, like a lot occurs. I was screaming at the screen. That's how bad it was. Lately, the economy has been such a challenge and no one knows what the future holds. To keep your business thriving, you need to find ways to save money without cutting corners. When it comes to saving money as a small business owner, every little bit helps. ShipStation gives you the access to discounts of up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates. And you can manage every order from one simple-to-use dashboard. When you lower your shipping costs and make your returns easy, your customers stay happy while you save money. I love how ShipStation saves me money, but I also love how easy it is to use. You can try it for yourself for free. Right now, ShipStation is offering a free trial, and it's a really quick setup. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see for yourself. ShipStation hooks you up with the industry-leading discounts, so you'll never have to worry about overpaying for shipping. Over 130,000 companies, including mine, have grown their e-commerce businesses with ShipStation. And 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life. Worry less about the bottom line when you save money with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use code RESPECT today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code RESPECT. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds, anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn modeling fundamentals with Naomi Campbell, or how to think like an FBI profiler with John Douglas, or plan your dream wedding with Mindy Weiss. With over 180 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I started taking Masterclass back in 2018. They have classes with Shonda Rhimes and Aaron Sorkin, and I was interested in learning about writing for TV. With Masterclass, you can learn how to write anything from a book or screenplay to just a letter. You can learn how to communicate with your boss or your family, how to make a dinner worthy of a Michelin star, or just how to make really good scrambled eggs. Whatever you're interested in, there's a class for you. And with over 180 exclusive classes taught by the instructors you know and love, there's always a class for you. I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class. And as a Ratchet and Respectable listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/ratchet now. That's masterclass.com/ratchet for 15% off Masterclass. Get a head start on spring cleaning with Caraway. Their thoughtfully designed sets and complimentary storage makes getting and staying organized easier than ever. Caraway kitchenware comes in a variety of chic shades, and all sets include complimentary easy access storage solution. Caraway's high-quality ceramic-coated kitchenware is free of PTFE, lead, cadmium, and other toxic materials. And ceramic's naturally slick surface means minimal oil or butter for slide-off-the-pan eggs, and, my favorite part, easy cleaning. I love how easy Caraway makes it to keep my kitchen orderly and clean. You can now save 10% off the full suite of Caraway products, from their internet famous cookware to their newly launched food storage set. Visit carawayhome.com/respectable to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/respectable or use code respectable at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. What else is going on in the world? We do have some good Black news. We talked about Tennessee and the chaos that's occurring down there. A bit of the chaos has been calm. Justin Jones, he was one of the members of the House. He was, what's the word? Not let go. What's the word? Not expunged. What's the word? Expelled. He was expelled along with House member Justin Pearson last week over protests that they led demanding gun control. The House has a Republican majority. They went crazy about this protest in their chambers. They found it highly disrespectful, so disrespectful that they expelled 2 members of the House. Was that Friday? It was last week. The city of Nashville's governing council. I'm reading this on The Guardian, and I'm intentionally reading it on The Guardian because I want to note how this has become an international news story, and also that Justin Jones and Justin Pearson have now become internationally known activists and politicians as well. I'm going somewhere with this. But the city of Nashville's governing council on Monday, which I was like, isn't that a holiday? I thought y'all had Monday off too. But they voted on Monday afternoon to unanimously return Justin Jones to the Tennessee state legislature. It's only temporary. There still has to be an official election. So a special election is coming up soon. But they have voted Justin Jones back into the House. And there's video circulating of him entering the House. He got like a whole slew of like light colored suits. I haven't seen this man in a black suit yet. Like there's several white suits, unless he's wearing the same white suit all the time. No judgment. I'm just pointing out he loves a white suit. And then when he came into the chambers, he had on like it wasn't white, but it was pastel. And I was like, okay, maybe because it was Easter. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to give like Dove peace energy. I don't know. And I'm not critiquing it. I'm not judging it. I'm just pointing out. I've noticed the man got a lot of light colored suits. That's all. But he was walking into the House with the white lady ally, the one they didn't vote out. You can see all the House members in the background. It was like all white people. I didn't see one brown face in the back. But he's walking in and he's got his hand raised in the air like Black Power and Triumph and all of that. And then there are citizens in the gallery, clearly because they're screaming and yelling their heads off in approval and joy. But they're screaming their heads off. And these white folks are just sitting there, his colleagues, just looking dry and bitter, brittle, angry. Y'all gonna age yourselves further and faster doing that. Just FYI. They look salty and dehydrated and just all around terrible. And I was like, really? Really? Which expected? We know y'all have no morals and basic ethics. I don't really expect much from you. But I was like, y'all see these cameras rolling, right? You just gonna sit in the background looking depleted and near death. Okay. Bitter is a choice. But I'm very happy for him and for Justin Pearson. There's a vote coming up for Justin Pearson on Wednesday, and folks expected that he will be reinstated as well. But he has to go through the same process, another special election to be officially voted in, and then they have to be sworn in. That's a whole separate thing. I told you about Justin Pearson's issues with being sworn in before. But yeah, these white folks, actually correction, I'm not going to say white folks because they got a good white ally. I don't think all white folks are evil, but these Republicans, evil. And also short-sighted, which is why I intentionally am reading this story from BBC. I didn't know who Justin Jones was, but I only know his name because the Tennessee House expelled him. I didn't know his name. I didn't know about his activism. I didn't know about Tennessee having a statue, a bust of a Klan member sitting in its capital until 2 years ago. And then I had no idea that there was an activist like Justin Jones who'd been arrested more than 10 times. But he literally was arrested and put in jail all those times, protesting to get this statue of a Klan member removed from official government space, which I can't believe it was there. And then I can't believe people arrested him. Like he's trying to get the statue out and there's an argument over that. It's Tennessee. But also it could be New York. My dad is from Mississippi. And he gets very frustrated sometimes when people talk about how racist Mississippi is, because he was like, Mississippi was no different than anywhere else. Were they more blatant about it? Sure. But he was like, were they actually more racist than, say, New York or Chicago or LA? He was like, no, it was just more in your face. Like, you heard about more incidents, but were any of those places less racist? Which, I told y'all, like, LA is the most racist place I ever experienced. I found the racism in LA, like, blatant and hostile. When I went to Mississippi, I think the last time I was there was, 2018 with my dad. Everybody was pretty much chilling. Were they racist? Could have been. Were they hostile about it? Were they blatant about it? Was I made to feel unwelcome? No. LA? Yes. But Justin Jones, like, I didn't know who he was. And I wouldn't have known who he was if the Republicans in the House, you've taken this guy who was a local activist, who everyone in Tennessee might have known, but outside of that, we had no clue. And now you've turned him not even just into a national figure, but into an international figure. The next election, like the special election he's going to run, he's going to get back in. But you understand, like, you've pretty much guaranteed this man is going to Congress if that's what he chooses to do. And he's not just going to get local support, he's going to get national, if not international support. And I mean financial support. People are going to support him because now they know who he is and what he stands for and the lengths that he's willing to go to advance black folks. I'm not getting arrested 19 times for anything. I don't care how moral it is. Y'all want to put a Klan statue in there? I might go in there and protest with you, but once they come out and start talking about they arresting people, I'm going home. I'm not going to jail. It's a worthy cause. I'm not going to jail and I'm not getting tear gas. Justin Jones does jail on behalf of our black asses. If he is to run for any office and needs funds, they will pour in. Wherever he ends up that he wanted to go, he was totally going to get there anyway. He's that type of person. By expelling him, the Republicans just sped him up. The only reason I knew who Justin Pearson was is because same House, same Republicans made an issue of when he showed up to swear in and he had on a dashiki. And they turned it into like a dress code thing. And there is no official dress code, by the way. But they were talking about they should pass laws to make this official dress code because men have to wear a tie because it's decent and orderly and blah, 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 blah. But that's the only reason I knew who he was either. After he gets expelled, that's when I'm like, who? What? What happened? They were protesting gun control. Y'all mad about gun control? Yeah. I expect racists to get upset about shit that black people do. I expect them to blow a gasket about anything that is forwarding the specific advancement of black people. Y'all are mad that people are protesting to stop schools from getting shot up. The people who were murdered in this Tennessee school shooting, I was talking to my mom about this last night. There were 6 people. 5 of them are white. The protest that the Justins led, that these Republicans in the House are so upset over, it's not even like a race thing. It's like a, hey, could you stop shooting up our schools thing? And they still mad. They're so like aging in dog years, red-faced mad that in your expulsion of these 2 men, you turn them into international icons. Like these mofos' pictures gonna be on shirts any day now. Justin Pearson with the afro and the dashiki, sir, is made to be a brand. Justin Jones in these white suits and these earrings, easily branded. They really need to learn how to be like proper racists. I would think that some part of the playbook would not be to like, I don't know, turn the people you hate into international figures that everybody wants to stand behind and support. But that's just me. If I were a racist, I think I would act differently. But you know, inherent in racism is ignorance. If you had half a fucking brain, you wouldn't be out here judging people or thinking lesser of them, especially based on their race. But here we are with 2 new international icons. These mofos gonna end up so popular they become street art. Just like George Floyd, Che Guevara, somehow Tupac and Biggie, which I think South Africa is probably the only place I haven't seen a mural of Tupac and Biggie somewhere. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. Just because of the overlap between South Africa and America, I feel like it's gotta be here somewhere. I just haven't seen it. What else is going on? We're going to talk about Don Lemon. Oh, this isn't good black news. This is what the fuck. And is in no way compared to Don Lemon. Like Don Lemon, they accusing him of just being a little asshole at work, which he denies. I think it's important to say. I read that he's talking about suing Variety because he says that was just a bunch of lies, but we'll get to that in a second. This is like some criminal shit that we about to discuss now. There's been lots of talk lately about a Freaknik documentary that's coming to Hulu. I think it's produced by Jermaine Dupri, but I've been seeing the jokes about it. So apparently this documentary is specifically about the 1994 Freaknik Festival. But I'm reading this on Daily Mail because I'm intentionally choosing Daily Mail so people understand just how far this story has traveled. And also, Daily Mail is quoting Variety. Variety means it's out of just black circles, and Daily Mail means it's international. But the Daily Mail is quoting Variety. They said Variety confirmed last week there's a new movie, and they talked about how the announcement of this film has caused an uproar online. I never went to Freaknik. Freaknik was still going on when I was in college. I think it was kind of dying down then, but it was still going. We were discouraged from going to Freaknik because it was just basically like, do you want to get raped or assaulted? That's what I remember Freaknik as. And I was like, oh, no. So what I'm reading here, the largest Freaknik was in 1994. And this documentary is going to air in April 2024 in honor of the 40-year anniversary of Freaknik. So Freaknik actually began in 1983, but it was like a small thing. And then it just grew and grew and grew over the years. So the running joke online has been about women, black women, being exposed via this 20-year-old footage. Which, yeah, Freaknik was lewd. Freaknik was crazy. Like, people were out there. I've seen footage from Freaknik. I've heard tales from Freaknik. Yes, women were out there with their ass out. Women were out there dancing on cars, the back of motorcycles and thongs, all of those things. Okay. Everyone keeps talking about like these women getting exposed and be like, oh, people going to see their wives, their mothers, their aunties. It's always about like the women being exposed, the women being exposed. At what point are we going to have a conversation about your fathers and uncles being exposed as rapists and or other sexual predators? Because that's a conversation too. One of the reasons that Freaknik came to a halt, because women were getting sexually assaulted and raped left and right. I was Googling earlier today because I was trying to find stats on like the sexual assaults and such at Freaknik. I was like, did I make that up? Is that something I just like imagined in my head? Like, I don't think so. There's a story from yesterday in the Los Angeles Times when they talk about the amount of crime at Freaknik. That's not to say everybody was out there doing criminal shit. I think the vast majority of people were just down there to have a good, legal, consensual time. Show your ass, yes, but with consent, fine. I take the specific issue without even seeing the documentary. I don't know exactly what it's going to cover. But in all of this conversation about like, oh, your moms are going to be exposed, your aunties are going to be exposed, no one seems to be talking about the underbelly of Freaknik, which was the violence against women. We have issues in the year of our Lord, 2023, with people not understanding consent or what rape is or what sexual assault is. Like they really think women exist simply for their pleasure and really don't understand what no means because they think they're entitled. We're talking about shit that happened in the 90s. Like when I went to college, anytime you went to the bathroom, the back of the stall had advertisements for where you could report rape or sexual assault because that's how common it was on college campuses. So I just think it's really weird that people are focused on like women being exposed, but nobody says anything about the men, even the ones who weren't raping and or other predatory shit. Like, do you really think it was just women down there like acting an ass? It's like the idea that we're talking about is women are out there literally showing their ass for a male audience, but the male audience is fine? Because y'all acting like the men were just standing there at a respectable distance with their hands behind their backs or reading their Bibles or some shit while women were doing all this. No, they was acting a ham-ass fool too. It took two to tango. But somehow it's only the women who need to worry about being exposed. It's very on brand. It's always interesting to me when I travel around Africa. So many people ask me about like the sexism here. And I'd be like, I'm from America. Like, you're not worried it's so violent. I'm from America. Like, I'm definitely not trying to walk down the street and get robbed. But like, you know, comparing somebody stealing my iPhone to, I don't know, someone pulling out an AK-47 at a concert or a mall, at a school, like wherever people are gathered. Like, that's a little more concerning to me, to be quite honest. Last but not least, we need to speak about Don Lemon. And let me say again, Don Lemon has denied what he has been accused of by Variety. He's talking about suing Variety for this story. I'm reading this in the New York Post. I'll go to the Variety story in a minute. CNN has publicly defended Don Lemon on the Variety story, which gives me hope that he's not about to lose their job. They're protecting their product. When the Post called over to CNN for comment about the Variety story, CNN said the Variety story had, quote, no actual proof, and, quote, instead relies on anonymous sources, and, quote, unsubstantiated claims from 10 to 15 years ago. I.e., this ain't new news. This is old news. This is lukewarm tea. This is triple pour lukewarm tea. You had to go 10, 15 years back to find some tea. This ain't real tea. Okay. And this is what Don Lemon said through his spokesperson. The story, which is riddled with patently false anecdotes and no concrete evidence, is entirely based on unsourced, unsubstantiated 15-year-old anonymous gossip. It's amazing and disappointing that Variety would be so reckless. Oh dear. We've talked before about Don Lemon has been in hot water. We talked about his, he made some ageist remarks. He made them in response to Nikki Haley. I thought last time, I think I said it was Marjorie Greene, but I was like, it's somebody in that realm, but it's Nikki Haley. So he was sat down for a couple days and then he returned. He had to make an apology. And CNN made him get some training so he could, basically act right in public. So Variety went and did a little digging and they published a story titled Don Lemon's Misogyny at CNN Exposed, Malicious Text, Mocking Female Coworkers, and Diva-like Behavior. There was an incident in which Don Lemon is accused of, I think it's worth noting that we're having a conversation about something that may or may not have occurred in 2008. Don Lemon had a co-anchor named Kyra Phillips. And Don apparently was no fan of Kyra. They were up for a similar assignment and Kyra got the job. And Don was very upset about this. He is accused of going to her desk and tearing up pictures and notes that were on top of and inside her desk. And this was according to two sources who worked at CNN at the time. They said when she got back from the assignment, things got really weird. She received an anonymous threatening text message from an unknown number on her flip phone, because it was 2008. And the message said, now you crossed the line and you're going to pay for it. Apparently, these texts were traced back to Don Lemon, according to the same sources that talked about him tearing up papers and pictures at the desk. They said there was an HR investigation. According to Variety, the findings were never disclosed, but Don Lemon was abruptly pulled from his co-anchor duties. Variety notes it was a demotion by any objective measure and understood to be some kind of disciplinary action. Now, Variety did reach out to Phillips and they asked her, did Don or did not Don do this shit he's being accused of? She gave no comment. A spokesperson for CNN said Don says the alleged incident never occurred and he was never notified of any investigation. Variety says they spoke with more than a dozen former and current colleagues who, quote, painted a picture of a journalist who flouted rules and cozied up to power, all while displaying open hostility to many female coworkers. Now, this is where they get to the petty part. They said people who work with Don said he was a shameless name dropper, and he left behind hints that he socialized with important people, like a handwritten note from Stedman Graham that he had taped on his computer. They also say that Don began openly dating a fresh out of college staffer, despite a major age difference and power imbalance. Lemon was 41. The staffer was 22. Ooh, that's way too young. 41, you have nothing in common with a 22-year-old besides physical attraction to them. They're probably attracted to your money, your power, your clout. 41 is old to 22. I remember being 25 and I broke up with a guy who was 35 because I was like, he's too old. I want to be like young and in love, and he's not young. 25 to 35 is a huge, huge mental gap. Variety has a story about the time that Don Lemon called one of his producers fat to her face. Oh, dear. They said Don was upset when Soledad O'Brien, she got the gig hosting the Black in America docuseries. Don wanted to do that. I feel like in 2008, Don then is not what Don is now. Remember Don had like bullet points for pulling the Black community together, and like one of them was like pick up trash off the street because that would stop police brutality and racism, I guess. And then the other one was like Black men needed to pull up their pants or some shit. Like Don Lemon at one point was real like Cosby-esque pound cake respectability politics-ish. He became a better version of himself over the years, but there was a time. According to Variety, Don was so upset about Soledad O'Brien getting this job. They were in a staff meeting and he suggested that Soledad O'Brien isn't black. So she's Cuban. If you've seen pictures of her mama or you've seen pictures of Soledad O'Brien on a hot day, those edges tell a black woman's story. Her ethnicity is Cuban, but her race, she black. She light black, but she black. Variety caught up with Soledad O'Brien. They asked her about Don Lemon. She went on the record with her full name. She says Don has long had a habit of saying idiotic and inaccurate things, so it sounds pretty on brand for him. CNN also denies that Don said this. Variety talks about some alleged quote and unquote diva-like behavior. They said Don was skipping editorial calls, showing up late in the newsroom, or just generally exhibiting disengaged behavior. They said in 2009, Don Lemon, Soledad O'Brien, and Anderson Cooper were all sent to cover Michael Jackson's funeral at the Staples Center. And Don was upset that Anderson Cooper got more airtime. They said a senior executive had to pull Don aside for a come to Jesus moment. And the executive said, your performance as a reporter is great. It's your behavior that's got to improve. There's more. This is a really long article. I can't go through it point by point. I'm just talking about the stuff that's either extremely titillating or actually seems to have like some decent merit to it. Some of this stuff I don't remember, and I was a fervent CNN watcher at the time. Apparently, Don Lemon, they said in 2014, he drew widespread condemnation when he told a Bill Cosby rape accuser that she could have stopped an attack by biting the comedian's penis. I don't remember this. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't remember it. They're talking about Don Lemon. Remember like the Juicy Smouye situation in Chicago where he said he was attacked by some white men who put a noose around his neck in negative degree temperatures in Chicago because he went to Subway. Remember that? Don Lemon apparently texted Jesse that the Chicago police doubted his story. He gave him a heads up. And they're saying here he was wrong for that. CNN says they looked into that matter and found Don behaved appropriately. They said Don was attempting to prompt a response and book Jesse for his show. The more recent stuff they have in this article about Don is very petty. Like going to your colleague's desk and like tearing up pictures and doing crazy shit. Like that's almost as bad. What did our new friend Justin? Last episode I played you the audio. It was terrible. I hope you were able to make it out. But our friend Justin, he was talking about people that got expelled from the Tennessee House. And he said, you're expelling me for leading a protest. He said somebody in the Tennessee House had peed in another member's chair. And he said that person is now working in the governor's office. Really? Both of those are crazy. Like now, Don, if you didn't get the job and you went to this lady's desk and started tearing up shit, you crazy. You sending a lady text, you crazy. Don said he didn't do none of this shit. And I hope he didn't. But I don't know if that really holds up to like proper scandal. Do I believe he did it? To be quite honest with you, yeah. But are you going to fire somebody 15 years later for that shit? If you believe what's in the article, it sounds like Don Lemon is not a nice person. Everyone almost agrees that he's a good reporter. He's good on camera, but behind the scenes, like him taping a handwritten note from Stedman Graham, not from Oprah, from Stedman to his computer as a flex, it tickles me. It tickles me. You just want people to know that you know Stedman. Not that you know Oprah, but that you know Stedman. Okay. The other stuff, yeah. Was he mad about Anderson Cooper getting airtime? If you work in TV, screen time is a thing. That really doesn't surprise me. Was he mad that Soledad got black in America? I could probably see that. Is Don a petty motherfucker? Probably. Should Don be fired for anything in this article? No. If you're going to fire the man, he's got 2 recent offenses, one of which was public. The other one was behind the scenes. I mean, and CNN has chin checked him on both of those. And notably, again, CNN is denying that any of this happened. And if it did, it was 10 to 15 years ago. I said last episode, I said, Don, I think you're about to lose your job. And then after like going through this article, like bit by bit and seeing what CNN had to say, I don't know. CNN's defending him. I don't want Don to lose his job. But I also don't want Don out here acting like an asshole either. Like keep your job and improve your behavior. Fair. I don't want to see a black man lose his job. Not over this shit. R. Kelly, he can lose his job. The Dalai Lama, we ain't talk about that shit. The Dalai Lama, I don't know, can he lose his job? He needs to be banned from any interaction with the public. The Dalai Lama, is he 81, 89? Too damn old. There was an event. A little boy gets on a microphone. A small boy, 9 tops. Asked the Dalai Lama for a hug. Dalai Lama said, sure, little boy, let's have a hug. The little boy goes up to the Dalai Lama, and there's a microphone in front of them. I guess he got comfortable. He forgot the mic was there. I want to say he gives the little boy a hug, and then he kisses him on the lips. And then he sticks his tongue out at the child, and he asks the little boy to suck his tongue. What the fuck? I didn't hear about the story until the Dalai Lama apologized through his spokesperson. I'm going to read you the exact thing, but it was real like, Dalai Lama. Via his spokesperson, he's 87. He said, quote, His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident. Ain't no teasing about telling a little boy to suck your tongue. Who says that? I can't think of a possible scenario where it would be any means way appropriate for any adult to say to any child to suck my tongue. And then actually stick out your tongue to do it on top of that. I was trying to think and I was like, is there a way this could be lost in translation? No, the mofo literally wanted the little boy to suck his tongue and stuck out his tongue so the little boy would do it. That's some nasty, filthy, gross shit. And I expect within the next couple days, weeks, there's going to be a clown car full of people. And not that they clowns. I'm just talking about the number of people that would come forward talking about they had interactions with the Dalai Lama. There were nasty, filthy, perverted, sexual abuse, all sorts of stuff like that. You don't just start becoming a sexual abuser to children at 89 and doing that shit in public. You're on stage, they're all looking at you. And even if there was no microphone, you feel comfortable kissing a little boy on the lips and then asking him to suck your tongue in front of an audience full of people. It's because you've been doing that nasty, gross, disgusting, perverted, abusive, molester shit for a really long time. I'm so disgusted by this story. And his spokesperson trying to play it off it was innocent, it was fun. And then by calling him His Holiness, not calling him the Dalai Lama, but reminding people he's holy, His Holiness, that he's this revered religious figure. Fuck him. I'm all for anybody's kind of religion. I don't diss nobody's religion, but molesters, abusers, sexual predators, which he behaved like in public, fuck him. His Holiness often teases people. That ain't no teasing. It was innocent and playful. Ain't nothing playful about a grown-ass man's tongue touching a child. I don't think there's been enough outrage. I need something to happen to him as a result of that. He needs to be sat down. A court needs to investigate him. I need something to happen to him for that shit. I know he's 89. I know he on death's door, but no, something. That shit's not okay. There needs to be an investigation or something. That's... Fuck. That's some gross shit. All right. That's the episode for the day. I don't know what else I could say after I've cursed out the Dalai Lama. We'll be back on Friday with more. Thanks for listening. All right. Bye.